Salam, Hotep, Shalom. Peace be upon everybody out there in the listening audience. My name is Floyd Williams, and I am the author of the book Unspoken Truth, which is a non-fiction book. As you can see, the banner displayed in the background. Once again, the title of the book is Unspoken Truth. My contact information is unspokentruthfloydwilliams.com. Feel free to log on to the website, fill up the contact information form, or to place an order. The topic that I will address and manifest is the untold reasoning of the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. We are all familiar with the various scriptures pertaining to the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, mainly those coming out of the renowned Gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke and John, as conveyed in the Holy Bible. We, or I, will not touch bases on those, but I will get strictly to the point as far as the reasoning of the crucifixion of Christ, the real reasoning, which is still the same reasoning of why blacks today have suffered and continue to suffer all throughout history and since the beginning of creation. Various nations have risen and fallen, and every society is a continuation of the other, of that which came before it. Truth is one, and knowledge and information and science is one. It is just a continuation, meaning those who come after learn how to add onto it and perfect, to bring about that which the previous people could not achieve. The highest pinnacle of civilization and society is that of ancient Kemet, Egypt. And Kemet means the land of the black. In the Osirian or Osirian resurrection, Osir, his Greek name we know him by as Osiris, but Osiris also means ruler of the pitch black. Black is the origin of life, and it is the origin of color. So when the Holy Bible speaks about being created in the image of God, it means that the being would reflect this color black. And the whites or European establishment has complete knowledge of the dominant and the recessive gene. One of the first acts that they did upon their release from the caves and being in contact and making contact with the civilized world. Alexandria, Egypt, and other places in the East was to destroy and burn the libraries. They scholars used to come over there to the ancient mystery schools and learn and take it back over there to Europe. But in dealing with the untold story and reasoning of the resurrection and crucifixion of Jesus Christ, is not only because he was speaking truth to power, but it is because he was black. It is because you had a black man standing up to white people, specifically in the time frame of Jesus Christ. It would be the Roman Empire. So not only is he speaking truth to power, but he's doing something that was literally unknown and unseen, unreal and unbelievable. A black face, making indications, observations, critiques, pointing out calling to account and that infuriated them and made them maniacal. Something that they could not tolerate and take. They could not accept that this black man, Jesus the Christ, would be calling them to account. That he was chosen to deliver a divine message. That he had such titles as the Son of God. And that he was being looked at as even being God. And so with the inferiority complex of the Roman Empire, I say inferiority complex because when they seen and witnessed the height of civilization that was over there in the East, it made them feel inferior, which maddened them. So white superiority and white supremacy was birthed out of the feelings of inferiority. So with Jesus Christ speaking truth to power and challenging them, and him being black, that right there was something that was intolerable. And it's not necessarily that these Romans were unfamiliar with the truth or necessarily knowing right from wrong. It was the black skin and the feelings of inferiority that they could not tolerate or accept, and them having knowledge of how small Europe is, knowledge or an estimate of their population in comparison to the darker nation. They knew that they were a minority. So they orchestrated a plan. And it's the same plan that Pharaoh had came up with when he had said to kill the males, but let the females stay alive. Christ in Greek is Christos, which means the anointed. The Hebrew and Greek for Christ is Mashi and Mashiach. They both mean anointed. However, a little over 3,000 years before the birth of Jesus Christ, we have an Indian deity by the name of Krishna. Krishna also means the anointed. But one of the meanings of Krishna that is not really put out there is that Krishna also means black. And we find in the scriptures in Revelations where Christ is described as having woolly hair, eyes like fire, and skin of burnished bronze. So, that right there plainly establishes Christ's place in the universe and his pigmentation, meaning that he had melanin. He possessed melanin. When we examine the book of Matthew, it traces the genealogy of Jesus the Christ all the way back to David. And in the Songs of Song, we have Solomon saying, I am black and beautiful, but look not upon me because I am black. So based off this lineage of Christ and Matthew going all the way back to David and Solomon saying I am black but beautiful, and Christ being in that lineage, surely he reflected the pigmentation of David and Solomon. The crucifixion of Christ, and based on them being conscious of the minority majority, their attack is based on psychogenetics, the trying to ensure their survival. It's not necessarily anything that we have done. is strictly based on color. It's strictly based on color. And so every attack on the black male of present day society, dealing with Trayvon Martin, dealing with Oscar Grant, dealing with Frederick Frederick Jermaine Carter in Greenwood, and the other Christ. And I say the other Christ because modern day America is only a continuation and extension of the Roman Empire, which is readily seen in the designs of the architecture. All of the days of the week, and even the word capital has its etymology and roots in Roman terminology. America is an extension of the Roman Empire. They are colleagues of the West, and they look at each other as being one. They do not see any division amongst them. It's all part of the Western world and the schematics of the New World Order and the controlling of the darker races. So every time a black male is killed, murdered, suffers police brutality, or they are eliminated, exterminated, in their mind they are assassinating and killing Christ, knowing that we are God anointed and elect. Examining this real true story of Christ and the untold reasonings behind the crucifixion, let's take a look at the cross. The cross, we have a vertical and a horizontal bar, which is called the cross. But the cross is only an emblem of the phallus. The cross is the phallus symbol, which means it's a penis. The cross is a penis, or what they call a phallic emblem. It represents masculinity. It represents fertility, and it represents dominance. When you look at the crosses, the majority of the crosses is going to be brown, are going to be of a dark color. Let's compare this with the Egyptian cross, which is called the Ankh. You have the vertical bar, and then you have a circle on top of the vertical bar. This represents complete balance and harmony, the union of the higher and lower, or the union of the male and female, feminine and masculine. Also, it represents eternity, because the circle on top of the Ankh is the Sheen, the Egyptian symbol of the Sheen, which represents eternity, immortality. But the cross of Christianity strictly deals with the phallus or the penis, which I pointed out the majority of them are always going to be brown, which is a representation of the race. So the crucifixion of Christ was the crucifixion of the black male image and designed to control the ability of reproduction, of producing, of controlling the dominant gene as a means of self-preservation. This is a psychogenetic war. That is all it is. In March 1968, J. Edgar Hoover, the head of the FBI, said that we must prevent the rise of a black messiah. We must prevent the rise of a black messiah. What do you think his source of information was for him to say that, for him to feel that ardent and convicted about that? This was not an ignorant man. He might have been crazy and done some ridiculous things, but he was far from a fool. What was the source of this information? But anyway, he said it. We must prevent the rise of a black messiah. So everybody knows our history, our potential, our real place in the universe, except for us. But this is the reason why Christ was crucified. Not just because he was speaking truth to power, but because of his color. Back to this cross, which is a symbol of the penis, or a phallus symbol. I'd like to give shouts out to Dr. Umar Abdullah Johnson for putting me up on this information, which I went and researched myself. You have out there what is called the North American Man-Boy Love Association. And the objectives of the North American Man-Boy Love Association is to remove from law pedophile laws, to reduce the age of consensual sex among boys or minors. Sickening. Sickening. So, what do we see today? What is taking place of the black family struggle and become the new civil rights? It is gay rights. It is homosexuality has become the new civil rights of the millennium or of 2012. So, I said that to connect the controlling of the dominant gene. Because when they get a black male to practice and become a homosexual, they don't have to worry about him reproducing or creating another black king, queen, warrior. Do not have to worry about that. This homosexuality is an attempt to control population. and not of them, but of us. So I ask everybody out there to think twice on this topic of homosexuality and to really look at the underlying purpose, because all of this stuff is by design, strategy, and orchestration. And it's designed to eliminate us. Planned Parenthood, which was founded by Margaret Sanger, who was part of the eugenics movement. All this stuff is designed to control the dominant gene. All of this is part of an elaborate scheme of depopulation or the elimination of black males as well as females. Study the abortion rate of black women in comparison to white women. Mass incarceration. 39.6% of the prison population is black males. Almost making up half of the current prison population. You have 897,000 black males incarcerated out of a total of 2.3 million incarceration rate, and we make up 39.6, but yeah, we're only 12% of the population. All of this is designed to prevent the rise of the black messiah. The killings of our leaders was designed to instill fear and to keep one from wanting to stand up and advocate and speak out. Mark Clark, Fred Hampton, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Medgar Evers. The list goes on. This is what this is about. Population control and the preventing of the rise of a black messiah. Now, many out there may be listening and saying, what does the color of Jesus matter? Does it matter? God is impartial. He has no favorites. His color doesn't matter. If his color does not matter, why alter the color? Images is what people go by. Images, which is why when Christ spoke, he always used parables because of the power of images. Always spoke parables because the parables paint a picture. Parables paint pictures. Nothing more powerful than an image. We love to say that a picture is worth 1,000 or 1,000,000 words. So a picture says it all. Enough said. It does matter. And they refuse to worship or revere the black male or the black female. And so with the order being reversed and the changing of the color of the pictures, it gets you to worshiping them, serving them, feeling less about yourself, removing your confidence and your esteem. A people who does not know their true place in the universe is lost, as if they are wandering through a maze, or groping in the dark, blindly lost. It does matter, because if it did not matter, would have left it the interpretation alone. And so now, even when we think of black, we think of ourselves as being cursed because of the definitions that they attach to the word black. We have Black Friday, black out. Anybody scared of the dark? Black male, black ball, angel's food cake, which is what? White. Devil's food cake, which is black. Even have a black cat, which they say if you cross, you get bad luck. This brings me to segregation. The whole purpose of segregation was not because they looked at us as subhuman, 3/5 of a being. It was not because they did not really want to be amongst us, but it was because of the aspect and strength of the dominant gene. Wherever it is, we plant our seed, it takes over, and that which comes into life, it reflects the dominant gene. Once again, all this stuff is psychogenetics, purely related to the preserving of the race, which is why they were so strict about black male getting close to the white woman. This stuff was done as an attempt to keep away from the white female and to preserve the race. And so when they thought that the black male looked at the woman or whistled at the woman, or that something had transpired behind them, automatic murder, automatic killing to instill the terror and fear of don't think about it, or this is going to be you. And they publicly hung the body on a tree or on a stake. A tree is nothing but a stake. And in Galatians, it said, cursed is the man hung on a tree or a stake. They burn crosses. When they burn that cross, they're not thinking about Jesus the Christ on that cross that they crucified. In their cross, they are seeing the burning and they're getting rid of the black male. They are seeing the destruction of the reproductive power and ability They are seeing and exercising control over the ability to procreate of the black male. Once again, the cross is a valid symbol. So during the cross burning ritual, it was a swearing to control the black male's testicles and reproductive organs. That's what that was about. We have the Harrison Yellow Act. Many do not know that drugs was first brought over here in 1859 by Jews, and cocaine was given to the slaves in the field as a stimulant to repel or keep back fatigue. But as we started to get just a little bit more freedom of movement and ability to procure things on our own, they came up with this Harrison Yellow Act, which pretty much made drugs illegal out of fear that the black male, while high on drugs, would attack and rape the white female. The black male, the black woman, are God anointed and elect. And with America being a continuation or an extension of the Roman Empire, with every one of us that is taken out, it is a crucifixion. It is a nailing to the cross. As I specified earlier, Christ actually means black. It truly means black. The story of Christ, virgin birth, is told all throughout history. The virgin birth, according to the biblical text, Adam was created without the agency of a mother or father, according to the Bible. We also have the story of Osiris and Isis. Isis, who blew her creative energy or life force into the remains of Osiris, gave birth to Horus. Horus is an Egyptian Kemetic term, which also means Christ. Krishna, we find this story as well. So the virgin birth, the first people of the planet is the black male and female. So the biblical story of Adam being created without the agency of a man or a woman tells of the virgin birth of us. we are the first people directly from the Creator, directly from this spirit of the Creator. Examining the pineal gland, the black male and black female basically has a 0% calcification rate of the pineal gland, meaning that pineal gland does not harden. The European has a horrible calcification rate of the pineal gland. You have various studies out there that proves that blacks who pray have up to a 7-year longer lifespan than the European or white man and woman. We are naturally spiritual and more higher energetic beings because of the melanin, which receives and stores the energy from the rays of the sun. Natural. Recently, during 2010, they had took a census, and from that 2010 census, they projected 2050 the demographics, where the Hispanic is set to outstrip the African male. And that's purely because their abortion rate is way less than the black woman. But the white is set to become the minority for the first time. So despite all of the concerted efforts against us, we're still here and we're still set to grow. We're not dwindling. We are not on our way out, despite all of the concerted efforts worldwide to control and eliminate us. Think about this. All of the wars fought, besides like World War One and World War Two, all of the wars have been against the darker races. They've been in Iraq. They've been in Afghanistan. They've been in Africa. All of these wars have always been on the eastern continent, which is only a means of population control. They're not in Europe taking out whites or killing other Europeans. They don't do that. The wars have always fought on the eastern territory and the setting up of bases on the outskirts of various places in the east only to control. Only as a means to control. The information that I am giving should not be taken lightly, because this genetic war is serious. Very serious. This is not child's play. And as I stated out, the reason for Christ's crucifixion had very little to do because he was speaking the truth. It had more to do with the color of his skin. Everything to do with the color of his skin. Realize that and know that Abraham is said to be the father of the nations. But what does Abraham mean? Ab means out of. Ab also means original. It means original. Come on now. Original. So, original meaning first. It means primal. Deep. Very deep right there. The tale of Hiram represents a man of noble birth. That's what Hiram means. It means noble birth. It also means one who has vanished. Nobody has vanished but us, the black family. Nobody else has vanished. In the Bible, Hiram is described as being of a widow's son. What do we call Africa? We call Africa the motherland. So we are the widow's son, stripped from our mother. Nobody has our history. Nobody has our history and is the widow's son but us. The stone that was rejected only to become the capstone. Prophet Muhammad, one of his greatest companions was Bilal, who was the first one to make the call to prayer and the only one to get on top of the Kaaba and make the call to prayer, who was an Ethiopian. He was an Ethiopian slave. Prophet Muhammad also has said to obey your leader, even if he has the head of an Ethiopian like a dried up raisin. Going back and looking at this story of Hiram, the man of a noble birth, master, architect, said that he was hit in the head with the setting maul, buried, but yet found in the West. I don't know of nobody else who was found in the West. Nobody else who was found in the West but us. And then the Holy Bible says, wheresoever the carcass is, there the eagles shall be. We are the carcass. The carcass represents the remains. The once remains of something great. The once remains of something living. That is us. That is me. That is you. The remains. But it's time for a blessing. It's time for our resurrection. Right now we have a great sign sitting in the White House. I'm just going to expound on his name, Barack. Barack. Barakat. It means blessing. It means blessing. Now we know that he was put in there by selection, and that he only represents the face of power, and that he is being used. But at times what people mean for bad, the Creator means good. They plot and plan, but Allah, or the Creator, plots and plans too, and he is the best of planners. Barack. Blessing. Blessings are on the way. And we are on our way up. But since rulership is given by turns as well, we have to be in accordance with the will of God. We have to live righteousness, ma'at. We have to be of truth. We have to be of justice and order. We have to be in submission to the will of God. Obedience is better than sacrifice. We need to recognize the divinity in every being and the divinity in all of creation. Foremost, we must have respect for ourselves. We must respect the black womb, the womb man. And we must cultivate a spirit of self-love and identity. You are, and we are, the anointed that God is just not going to raise us up and keep us up solely because of our color alone. When our heart is put on the scales and is being weighed with the ab, the heart, and the ma'at, the feather, the heart has to be lighter than the feather. Ma'at, or the feather, represents truth, justice, righteousness, and order. These righteous conduct and wholesome lifestyle, acknowledging this supreme being. You see, it's time. It's time, brothers and sisters and family, to know yourself, to love yourself, and to love others. One of the Egyptian proverbs says that the the study of self leads to the knowledge of the Creator. Because the more you study yourself, the deeper you get inside of yourself, and the closer you get to your real being. Cleanliness is next to godliness, because the cleaner you are and the cleaner your mind is, the more clearer your understanding and your perception is, and the more closer and intimate you are to the Creator and coming into the absolute reality, or the state of pure consciousness. Since I'm saying that we are Christ, and Christ also means to be crystallized into the oneness of God, and Christ meaning black. That means that Christ was taken out of, or created out of, the consciousness of God. And once you reach this state of oneness and your mind is in tune with that spirit, then you become empowered by that spirit. But the purpose of this speech, I just want to point out the real reason of the crucifixion of Jesus the Christ, and why the black male is still crucified, and why we are set out against today, strictly because of psychogenetics and they knowing our history and trying to preserve themselves in long as they possibly can. Take everything I said seriously. You could take it or leave it, but I'm going to stand upon it. My contact information is unspoken truth floydwilliams.com. Go to the website, fill out the contact information form, read some of the excerpts from the book, and most of all, be still and meditate and know that you are Christ.